Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Saurabh Arora, who is the founder of University Living, which is a global student housing marketplace. Hi, Saurabh. Welcome to ELI.
Hey, hi Priya. Thanks for hosting and look forward.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Right. So, as you mentioned, I'm a founder, CEO of University Living, which is a global student housing managed marketplace wherein we help students and accommodation partners connect and accommodate students, international students, Indian students, with safe, secure value for money,
Mhm.
accommodation around their universities. So this is about University Living, a bit about me, I'm Saurabh Arora, you know, any other any other founder or any I would say any other human being, I don't like to say that I'm from a second tier city or a or a city called Meerut. I guess most of us are from middle class family. Most of us are from tier 2 tier 3 cities. That's where most of us came to Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon or Mumbai of the world. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's about me.
Got you. Uh, Before we start talking about university living, can you set the context by telling us what is the problem in hand? How big is it? Define the context by sharing some statistics, possibly, or maybe take us through a student's journey in into a foreign country.
Sure, sure. So Priya, if I put some context to the problem, right? So it's a real problem to start with. Housing,
Mm,
food, and finance, right? These are three main, I would say रोटी कपड़ा मकान, right? तो उसमें मकान हम करते हैं,
mhm,
right? And उसमें भी we focus on students who, whether they are Indian, international, or any other countries which are going to their for their undergrad or postgrad to a new city or a new country, in their for their undergrad or postgrad. That's the journey we are in, right? Or stage of a student we are in. And numbers, there are 80 million students one point of time which are looking at accommodation every year across the globe. Right? Out of that, 6 million are international students who are from China, from India, from South Asia market, Middle East market, MENA region, right? Or even domestic students, let's say someone from Cardiff going to London, or
mm,
someone from Cork going to Dublin. So these are the students we focus on. We are helping them with accommodation. Out of that 80 million, 6 million international students. Out of 6 million, 1 million is Indian students, which is one of our strong market. Though we are more global, and that is only one third of our market.
mhm.
And only one of 6 students get accommodation by university. That means 84% of students need to look for the accommodation on their own, right? There's a general thought process that when you're going abroad or when you are looking for accommodation, when you go to study undergrad, postgrad, you will be accommodated by universities. But it's not the case, right? As I'm saying, not every university can accommodate all their students, and not every student want to be on campus,
Yeah.
either because of budgets, or they want to have more independent lifestyle, or they want to stay away in the mid city center, not in the campus. So there are various reasons, right?
Mhm.
So that is the market we are going after. It's 350 billion market, right? If you go by the TAM of this market, right? Right now we are focusing on 100 billion market, which is 6 million students looking for accommodation for their when they are going abroad to study. We focus on medium to long term bookings. We're not hotels, we're not Airbnbs, right? We are looking for students who are looking for their semesters, 6 months, 1 year student accommodation. That is what our core market, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, so that's about some stats, and that's the problem we are solving. And the main reason we are solving this, one point in time I went to Nottingham, didn't get my accommodation, stayed in a hotel for 1.5 months,
Mm,
right? So I never thought that I will get into it, but destiny was there. I end up into this. Now I don't know anything else apart from accommodating students. You
mm,
know, Similarly, my co-founder Mayank also, he went to Northampton. He didn't get accommodation. You know, and me and Mayank, we were together. We stayed in Gotham Nagar in Delhi for almost 7 months in that one bed apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how we got into it, and this is the problem we are solving.
Got you. Uh, what is the typical cost someone incurs in student housing, and is it covered under the financing that happens when a student goes from India to outside world?
Right. Very interesting question, Priya. Surely you have done your research and you got into it quite deep. So good to hear that. See, a typical cost, is around $10,000. When an Indian or international student go abroad, and when they're looking for a 40 weeks to 50 weeks, 1 year contract, right? On an average, it costs 8 to 10 lakhs, in a year, right? And of course, that varies from city to country to university, right? If you're going to London, it will be costing average 12 to 15,000 pounds. If you're going to outside London, or if you're going to tier two city like Cork,
Mhm.
or probably Brisbane, or uh, probably Southampton,
Mhm.
in UK, it will be around $8 to $10,000. If you are going to New York, California, LA, which are more metropolitan cities,
Hmm.
then it will be around 12 to $15,000 or pounds or whatever currency, that student going for.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
quite expensive. Now,
Uh, See, if you say expensive, yes, but see, that's what, we always say we are not into expensive or cheap accommodation, we're into value for money, right?
hmm,
When you're going abroad, you're spending 20 to 35 lakhs on your fees, right? uh 8 to 10 lakhs. Even in India, if you are going to Mumbai, if you're going to Delhi, you end up spending 4 or 5 lakhs on your accommodation,
yeah.
right? And these accommodation, why I call them value for money, because they include bills, water, gas, electricity, fully furnished, right? So lots of advantages which we can get later,
Hmm.
but these are safe, secure, close to university, so you end up saving money on your convents. And also, there's a fact which I keep talking about. 40% of total expenses
Mhm.
when you go abroad, you end up spending on your livings, and that is majorly accommodation, right? 70 to 80% of your time you end up spending on your accommodation, because most of your project works, your networking, everything happens where you stay,
Hmm.
right? So it's very, very important to take care of your accommodation early on, right? And also, there's accommodation beyond university halls. There's a myth that okay, हम जाएंगे हमें halls accommodation मिल जाएगा यूनिवर्सिटी में, इंडिया में नहीं मिलता, बाहर की तो फिर भी अलग बात है,
Yeah.
राइट? आप एमिटी जाते हो, आप आईएम्स जाते हो, आप बाहर रहते हो मोस्टली,
Yep.
right? So this, this needs to be told, because this is where I went wrong. I went there, I'm like यार रहना ही तो है, accommodation मिल ही जाएगी,
Hmm.
नहीं मिली थी।
Okay.
ये 10 साल पुरानी बात है, right? Right now I keep saying there are two things, global global crisis, global warming, and
Hmm.
housing crisis is for real.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
So, अभी हमको बताइए कि how you are solving it through university living. What is the uniqueness of this model? Why should a student not, do it on his own, or probably two, three students can gather to take a house, or why should they come to university living?
Okay, let me turn the table. Why should one not come to us,
Yeah.
right? you know it's like, when you go to any education partner or education agents or counselor, you can apply to university on your own,
Hmm.
कर सकते हैं ना आप?
Yeah.
आप आप अपनी एयरलाइंस की टिकट भी खुद कर सकते हैं, सब कुछ खुद कर ही सकते हैं ना,
Yes.
राइट? बट फिर भी यू गो टू यू नो e-commerce website, OTA, right? Or coming back to admission counselors, right?
Hmm.
Wherein, similarly, how admission counselor represent universities, we represent all the accommodation partners. Each and every accommodation are curated, verified, handhold, cherry picked,
Hmm.
right? There are lots of cases every year we come across कि हमें फेसबुक ने हमने कोई कम्युनिटी पकड़ी, हमें वहां पे कनेक्ट कर लिया, हमने वहां पैसे दे दिए, पता चला तो स्पैम हो गया,
Hmm.
right? Similarly, when you're going abroad or when you are connecting with these people, you're not best of friends, right? You are acquaintance, right?
Hmm.
And हाउसिंग जब आपको लेना होता है, स्पेशली व्हेन गोइंग अब्रॉड, यू नीड टू साइन अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, राइट? किसके नाम पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो? मेरे नाम पे, और मेरे
हम्म,
एक तीन चार दोस्त, हमने मिल, दोस्त भी नहीं बोलूंगा, एक्वेंटेंस बोलूंगा,
okay,
राइट? एक बंदे ने वहां जाके छोड़ दिया या उसका उसे वापस आना पड़ गया, राइट?
हम्म,
तो तो दैट्स व्हाई इंटरनेशनली इफ यू सी, इट्स ओनली इन इंडिया जहाँ पे हम लोग, हमारा भाईचारा होता है और चीजें हो जाती है।
हम्म,
बट आउट देयर एवरी, द लॉ इज वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट एंड एवरीथिंग ईच पर पर्सन, ईच
हम्म,
per week, per month. Everything is per week, per month, per each, right? So
हम्म,
most of the accommodation which we have created, you can book on your own. You can get the best of the both the world. आप इंडियंस इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट के साथ भी रह रहे हैं, पर
हम्म,
आपकी लाइबिलिटी खाली आपकी है,
हम्म,
राइट? यू आर पेइंग फॉर योरसेल्फ इन केस you can stay in a 4 bed 5 bed apartment, on suite room, अपना अपना अपार्टमेंट, बट आप औरों के साथ शेयर भी कर रहे हो, बट लाइबिलिटी आपकी, एक चीज।
हम्म,
दूसरी चीज, आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट you should not go for university halls, or you should not look for private apartments, but I'm saying when you're going for a year, right, it's better you focus on your core, which is studies,
yeah,
networking, rather than getting into fixing your rooms and getting your furniture and done. Expensive पड़ता है, इकोनॉमिक स्केल नहीं आता,
हम्म,
राइट? दूसरा, यू आर नॉट एक्सपर्ट, यू आर गोइंग फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम
हम्म,
मोस्टली, राइट? एंड जब आप फर्स्ट टाइम जाते हो ना, आपको 3-6 महीने में तो फिगर आउट करने में लग जाता है,
हम्म,
and so you end up spending more than saving, right? Secondly, we don't charge students for our services, right?
हम्म,
So आपको एक फ्री कंसल्ट मिल रहा है, जो आपको कुरेटेड करके ऑप्शन दे रहा है, right? Of course, we have a premium concierge service also. If you're going to a city or a country where you're looking for something which is very cheap or very expensive, like, or very premium, I would say, right?
हम्म,
So we have a concierge service paid model, but mostly we don't charge students. And because हमने मॉडल ऐसा बनाया हुआ है कि वी डोंट वांट टू पुश एनीवन कि यार ये ले लो, इसमें मुझे कमीशन ज्यादा आएगी ना, तो आपके लिए बढ़िया है।
हम्म,
इट्स अ प्लेटफॉर्म, you go on the website, you can book on yourself, right? Each and every property is curated. Secondly, we handhold students. इनफैक्ट हमारा काम बुकिंग के बाद शुरू होता है।
okay,
इट्स नॉट अबाउट आपने बुकिंग करी हमारा काम खत्म। इनफैक्ट बिकॉज हाउसिंग रहना,
हम्म,
अनलाइक एडमिशन एनी अदर सर्विस, आपने एयर टिकट्स लिया, आपका टिकट्स हो गया खत्म। रहना इज समथिंग आपने बुक किया, उसके बाद आपको जरूरत पड़ती है कि अच्छा ये खराब हो गया, या यहाँ पे ऐसा हो गया, वैसा हो गया। सो दैट्स व्हाई आई ऑलवेज से दैट when you are getting a free service, and the model we are creating is not like हमने बीच में मार्जिन रख लिया या इन्फ्लेट कर दिया, या कोई हैंकी पैंकी नहीं है, बड़ा सिंपल है। इनफैक्ट we tell everyone, we are no one to tell you where to stay. We
हम्म,
are a facilitator. We understand your requirements, we give you solution, right, and help you get accommodated happily, right?
अच्छा,
In case you believe you can accommodate on your own better, we are happy to help with other post admission service. We do air tickets, we do remittance, we do guarantor service. So because we've been doing for 11 years, and most of us are UK alum or international alumni, right? So we know the nuances, कि बैरी पास जाओगे तो आपका वहाँ पे लोकल गारंटर नहीं होता, राइट? आपकी कुछ कैरियर हिस्ट्री नहीं होती, राइट? तो ये छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, बट जब वहां पहुंचते हैं तो पता चलता है छोटी चीज तो थी, पर वहां जाके तो अब तो लाइक यार, मैंने तो अपना पिलो ही नहीं बुक करवाया था, मैंने डूबे
right,
नहीं करवाया था। 2 दिन मैं ठंड में रहा था,
हम्म,
-2 में। मैं पहुंच गया वहां पे, मुझे पता नहीं था वहां पे होटल नहीं है, डूबे नहीं मिलता, पिलो नहीं मिलता, रजाई, डूबे को रजाई बोलते हैं, रजाई नहीं मिलती,
okay,
राइट? 2 दिन जब मैं ठंड में ठुठ रहा, तो मुझे पता चला, अरे नहीं यार, अब पता चल रहा है कि थोड़ा प्लान कर लेते, अर्ली कर लेते तो बेटर रहता। सो यस।
got your point. uh, अभी बताइए कि how it all began, like you probably would have done some research, there would be a hypothesis, so take us to those days when you started thinking about building a venture, and how were the initial days, what are the things that you did?
See, I be honest, if you go by my Twitter handle, it says Mr. Accidental CEO.
Hmm.
ये मेरी एक टीम मेंबर ने शुरू में बना दिया था, राइट? बट एक्चुअली फैक्ट यही है, ऑफ कोर्स, देयर वाज ऑलवेज अ desire and ambition to do something on, right? But there was nothing like, कि कुछ करना ही है, अपना ही करना है, I went there, I didn't get my accommodation, I got into it, I was a banker, I came back, they were friends, family started approaching us, we started helping them, and slowly and surely, हम करते गए, and मजा आता गया, and अच्छा होता है, या एंड वी गॉट इनटू इट, राइट? सो आई विल नॉट गिव यू एनी फैंसी स्टोरी कि
Mm,
ऐसा हुआ वैसा हुआ ये किया. आई मीन, it turned out to be like this. Of course, it's been 11 years and I love it. We are very passionate about, now from that, now the mission is to ensure that every student get accommodated happily and safely. Because especially in last 3 4 years, after COVID, before COVID, last 3 4 years were very interesting. you know
mm,
कुछ cities है यहाँ पे accommodation है ही नहीं, और कुछ cities यहाँ पे accommodation बहुत है, students नहीं है, right? So that is where we were trying to create value. How we create a balance between demand and supply, right? One thing which happened well with us, because we went through the problem, me, my co-founder, right? So we were actually quite empathetic about this, because housing को post admission को ना अभी तक due advantage वो focus नहीं मिला है, because
mm.
this is not a very high margin game, it's a volume game,
Okay.
right? So everyone focus on admission, everyone focus on counseling, everyone focus on remittances, education loan, right? Which is very important part of this journey. But I say it, housing is as important, or if not more important than admission.
Okay.
Because we have seen students, especially female students from Nigeria, from second to like from emerging countries, not going eventually even after getting scholarships and good admission in best colleges, because उन्हें housing नहीं मिला, उनके
Okay.
पेरेंट्स ने भेजा नहीं,
Mm,
राइट? जिन्होंने जिन्होंने आखिरी में सोचा कि अच्छा अब तो हाउसिंग भी करना है, और हॉल्स तो फुल हो गए, राइट? उन्हें स्कॉलरशिप मिल गई, बट 15-15 लाख 20-20 लाख अकोमोडेशन में पे करने पड़ रहे हैं, just because they started late, or no one told about accommodation crisis.
got you. Got you. Um, what are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced so far while building and growing this venture?
I believe, building anything, whether it's venture or anything, life, the challenges part and parcel,
Absolutely.
right? So I don't see challenges. I see them as opportunity to grow, right? And as a company also, and as an entrepreneur also, our DNA is get your hands dirty.
Mm,
जब तक आप अपने हाथ नहीं गंदे करोगे, आप फैंसी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने जाओगे ना, then you need lots of funding and everything, right? But you know बेसिक है, एकोमोडेशन सबको चाहिए, इम्बैलेंस है, डिमांड है, सप्लाई कंस्ट्रेंट है, उसे मैच करना है. अब चैलेंजेस, एज अ अर्ली स्टेज स्टार्टअप, 2 से 3 लोग बनाना चैलेंज था,
mm-hmm.
राइट? इंटर्न्स में नहीं ज्वाइन करते थे, ऑफ कोर्स, देयर वर नो ब्रांड, नथिंग, राइट? व्हाई विल दे ज्वाइन, राइट? देन इवन टू गेट अ ऑफिस, बिकॉज आई थॉट ऑफिस में तो हम रेंट दे रहे हैं यार, ऑफिस को रेंट देगा, आपको ऑफिस मिल जाएगा, बट आई डिडंट नो दैट, इवन लैंडलॉर्ड्स गो थ्रू योर कैरियर हिस्ट्री एंड यू नो सी अब तुम्हारे बैंक में बैलेंस में पैसे कितने हैं, सब, आई मीन, of
Mm,
course, अब समझ आएगा ये भी, और उनका लॉजिक भी है, because they also need stability, right? They can't just let their accommodation room, their office to anyone, right? India में, with all due respect, in spite and despite of government, you need to build your venture,
mm,
right? I will not go further into it, right? But we all know, how in spite and despite of government, we need to build up, right? And so team building was good challenge to start with, right? Then being a non-tech founder, finding the right stack, finding the right tech team, everything was, if you see in the hindsight, everything was challenge. And
mm,
if you see in a positive way, all those challenges, had made me stronger. And because of that, our DNA is, I mean, challenge नहीं होगा तो grow क्या होगी?
mm.
अगर आसान होता तो सभी कर रहे होते.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I mean, lots of challenges, but I see them as a milestone to grow, and it went well for us.
Got you. Speaking of hiring as a challenge, tell us, how did you hire your first core team? Because the way I understand is, these are the people who need to be very reliable, trustable, and they join you just because they believe in you, rather than because there is nothing to show, like there is no brand, no funding, nothing is there. So tell us about that process or that experience. How did you find them in the first place?
again, no fancy story. I believe when you're a bootstrap startup to start with, you know, it's about founders. It's about not even founders. It's about the transparency, and with truth you go to your people and say, यार देखो ये प्रॉब्लम है, पता नहीं कितना बड़ा जाएगा, कहाँ जाएंगे, शुरू तो करते हैं, हाथ पे मारते देखते कहाँ जाते हैं. That was my pitch, and that is what I tell everyone. We don't know how big we can go, but we know it's a big market. We understand that it's a real problem. You're not solving some fancy things which you don't know. I'm not saying fancy things should not be solved. If those things should not be solved, then innovation कैसे आएगा. एंड हमने जो डिस्टर्ब किया, हमने वो डिस्टर्ब किया जो अनफ्रेगमेंटेड मार्केट थी, राइट. तो कमिंग बैक टू योर क्वेश्चन, हायरिंग में, आई गेस, आई बिलीव your first set of people are reflection of you. You attract the kind of people you are.
Hmm.
As a company, we are more hands down, we are more, we are more hardworking, uh, real people than very smart pedigree people, right? So we attracted those people. I'm very fortunate to have most of them together, you know, because we are very transparent. Secondly, we are very communicative. We communicate a lot,
Hmm.
right? We are still a close knitted 200 plus team, right? Uh, I believe, we got lucky. Firstly, to get that first intern when I started, that was interesting,
Mhm.
right? Absolutely rightly said. They join you as a person rather than a mission, problem, and all.
Right.
Secondly, I was lucky that I got managed to get a reliable co-founder. And which we complement each other's skill set, and we know each other from 22 years now. So that I believe that went well. And from there, then, 2 से 5, 5 से 10, 10 से 50, सो ऐसे होते चले गए, राइट. चैलेंज तो भी फेस करते हैं. टेक टेक आप टेक टीम मैनेज करना, बिल्डअप करना अपने में चैलेंज है.
Hmm.
जितने भी अभी न्यू एज, मीडिया, there's so much of moonlighting, freelancing happening. So to get the right set of balance between smart and hardworking and reliable and innovative people, it's challenging always, whether you have money, whether you don't have money, right?
Right.
And probably that's where the culture of the team comes in between. We are very transparent and open setup, right? And then it's about respecting people, communicating, transparency, sticking with by them. Yeah.
Gotcha. What did you say is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How do you define the term entrepreneur?
Okay. I guess, for me, entrepreneur is mindset.
Mhm.
It's not necessary that you need to start something to be entrepreneur. It's a mindset. Even if you are working with someone, you know it's a more of a mindset. Even if you are in your school with in your group of friends, there are people who are always taking leadership initiatives, right? So yeah, for me, entrepreneur is more of a mindset.
Gotcha. My final question. What are some of the most interesting lessons that you have learned through your entrepreneurial journey, which we can take away and probably apply to our ventures as well?
I guess, take every day as it comes, give your best, right? And स्टिक अराउंड, हम लोग हसल करते रहोगे, स्टिक अराउंड कर, मतलब मैं एक फिलोसफी में बिलीव करता हूँ. इफ यू डू समथिंग फॉर 10 years,
Okay.
शिद्दत से एंड कंसिस्टेंटली आप लगे रहोगे, you end up doing something okay for yourself and for your people around, right? So sticking out is important,
Mm.
right? Keep innovating or keep disrupting, or don't get complacent. If one of your income stream is coming well, keep thinking how I can multiply that. If we are leading the market, keep thinking how you be ahead of the curve, right? So as an entrepreneur, I believe, I don't know it's a curse or a boon, you know it's good to be or okay to be discontent. If
Mm-hmm.
you're discontent, you're thinking, you're not settling for
Right.
mediocrity. You're pushing the envelope.
Yep. Yep. That's
So
true.
yeah.
Awesome. So thanks for your time, Saurav. On this note, we will close the session. It was a absolute pleasure to have you on our platform, and our best wishes for university living.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you for hosting. Thanks. Please take care. Bye.